Alright lovely, so before we get started, as always, everything I'm using today you'll find listed right down there in the description below, and at the end of the video is a nutritional information card that gives you an idea what the macro breakdown for this is. Who does not love buttery portobello cheese and bacon stuffed mushrooms? I mean, I don't think I want to see a single hand raised at that one. These are absolutely divine. Alright, to get started with this, first thing you're going to do is add a half a cup of mozzarella and half a cup of cheddar. We're going to put in 1 clove of minced garlic. Now this was actually 2 smaller cloves of garlic, but if you have one larger clove, by all means use that instead. I have 2 green onions that I chopped up here. It's probably about a 1/4 cup worth of green onions. And then I got my seasonings. In here I've got a teaspoon of Italian seasonings, a half a teaspoon of Mrs. Dash, and a half a teaspoon of pink Himalayan sea salt. Alright, last but in my opinion the best ingredient is bacon. I've got cooked bacon here. This was about 10 slices of bacon. I used a half of a package of bacon. I baked it up in the oven. So I prefer to bake my bacon in the oven. It makes it less of a mess that way. So I just put it at 350, line a cookie sheet with aluminum foil. I bake it for 15 minutes on one side. Then I flip it and bake it for 15 minutes on the other. But I like my bacon crispy. If you don't like it really crispy, the second time on that, you bake it for 10 minutes instead of 15. Alright, combine all this up. Now obviously you don't have to use bacon if you don't want to use bacon. If you don't like it or if you can't eat it, that's perfectly fine. We just really love bacon in my house, so I'm going to always add a lot. Now that the filling has been combined, I'm going to set it aside for a minute. And we'll grab my cookie sheet. And now, to make cleanup a lot easier, you can always line this with aluminum foil. I didn't today simply because of the fact that this cookie sheet's wider than my aluminum foil, so it still drips all down the edges. It gets underneath it. But if you're using a slightly smaller cookie sheet, or if you have a bigger roll of aluminum foil, by all means cover this to make your life easier when you're cleaning things up. Alright, and today I'm using portobello mushrooms. You can use white button mushrooms as well. And when I went and got the packages of these mushrooms, I looked for ones that had the biggest mushrooms in it without getting the really huge like mushroom steak type mushrooms. If you want to take the time, you can take a spoon and scrape out the gills. I did, and they don't bother me, but it'll give you more room for filling if you do. And this was 2 8-ounce packages of the baby bella mushrooms. It gives you about an idea how many you're going to get. Alright, so our mushrooms are all lined up. Now I got here some melted butter. I just melted some unsalted butter down, and I'm going to brush it onto them, coating the edges and the sides best I can. Now if y'all guys hadn't seen it yet, I also have a mushroom steak where it's a mozzarella stuffed mushroom steak. Oh, that is so good. You guys have got to try that one if y'all haven't already. It's absolutely amazing. But that's more of a dinner side, and these are more of an appetizer. Now I get to do the fun part, add the filling to the mushrooms. You can overstuff these as much as you want. It's not going to hurt anything. Just get as much of that cheese on there as you can. It'll melt down and be oh so delicious. Yeah, it does make a little bit of a mess, but that's one of the fun parts about cooking, is making a mess. And that is it. These have all been stuffed to overflowing. I've already got my oven preheated to 350 degrees. What we're going to do is we're going to stick this in for 10 minutes. And if you wanted to, after 5 minutes, you can always drizzle some more of the melted butter on top of them. I personally don't bother, but it's not a bad idea if you want to. Alright guys, I'll show you guys what these look like in about 10 minutes. Alright guys and gals, so these just came out of the oven and they are absolutely wonderful looking. So get them off and onto the plates. They're ready to put out for guests. I really wish I could have found some packages that had more of these bigger ones in them. Alright, but there they are. There's the first round. I'm going to go ahead and get out. Alright guys, I hope you found this video helpful today. Don't forget to leave me a thumbs up down below. And feel free to share this video with anybody you know can use a wonderful, low carb, keto friendly bacon and cheese stuffed mushroom recipe. Until next time guys, bye.